Hello everyone. I don't have my camera on. There it is. Hello everyone. Today we're just going to be going through a few things on the list. It's Friday. I'm tired. I've had a busy week. But here we are. This is some stuff that I want to do. Let's start down here. All undead should have damage regeneration. So this to-do list here is for my scrappy kind of get to it. If I want to sort of formalize that I have considered this, or just I'm going to put this somewhere where I'm going to remember it. So here we are at the black beans. These are the undead. And I'll just sort of make a note here by the top. Should have damage or HP regen by default. And that means that when I come to creating this faction, I will remember to go through, I'll remember to, as I make those prefabs, to give them all some kind of damage regeneration. So that should work. Awesome. Next up, so I can take that off this list. Should orcs heal is a big one. I'm going to need to do a little bit more testing. So one thing I can do is put the notes here. So testing. I need to do a good session of just like playing the game a bit. So let's make a list of test runs. Thank you, my love. Let's do some test ideas. So we want to have something like level 2 level 2 difficulty runs on bridge, and make orcs viable basically is the plan there. And can I make them viable without sort of arbitrarily adding a heal for them? Should they have some kind of chain heal effect? If they did have a heal effect, would they have some kind of priest class, right? Like a shaman who does healing? Or would there instead just be one heal that is available to the hero character that is quite powerful? And that would be your only source of healing. And of course it would come with 2 possible upgrades, which would be heals. So while they have less healing, they would have, so humans have 2, you can get a priest or you can get a healing staff. The orcs would just have 1. They would just have the healing staff. I think that's kind of the answer. 1 healing staff. So add chain heal. I think basically this amounts to add chain heal. That's basically what this amounts to, which would be our second chain thing. So this is some interesting stuff here. I keep putting this off, but we will get to that at some point. Okay, testing. They should have a chain heal. So that is a design job, which we can look into. And we'll probably have time for that today. In fact, you know what? I should probably just do that while it's fresh on my mind. So here we are in Miro again. And Miro is where I like to do some design. So, are there any of these weapons that we feel that we could replace with a healing staff instead? Lightning staff is good. Lightning staff's loads of fun. That's our chain lightning. That's great. Let's call it chain lightning, just to be clear. They have a fireball, which is a straight up copy of the human's fireball. I don't have a problem with that. There is this kind of elemental thing going on here. I'll just kind of write this down to be clearer. So the humans have fire and ice. So how should we do this? Let's do... Humans are fire and ice. Orcs are fire and lightning. Demons are... So lightning can be maybe a bright yellow color. Demons are... Sorry, undead are ice and lightning. And the demons, the chili beans, I think would have access to all of them. Right? So you've got this nice kind of sort of very basic sort of elemental rock, paper, or elemental trio happening here. Right? Each element is used by 2 of the factions. Well, 3 if you include the demons. And that kind of has a nice balance to it, which I like. It just helps us make sense of it all, I think, is rather fun. So there we have that. Yeah. So it makes sense for them to have fireball and chain lightning. The undead will have chain lightning and icicle, and the demons we haven't got to those yet. We haven't got to the demons yet. I haven't done much design at all. Anytime I think of a weapon or ally or something, I like to put it here. I just pop it in here somewhere. And then, of course, once I actually flesh out the faction, that's when we go into more detail. Okay, so we have an interesting one, which is the club, which I think is quite fun. Oh, let's call this... I think in the... Yeah, let's just stick with the wolf armor. Yeah, I think this is quite fun, having a club. Of course, we have a club that is used by the big orcs. We have the plank, which is a shield. It's just a shield. It's just a shield with a different name and a different graphic, which, of course, is used by the big fat goblin. But I wonder if we can rethink some of these. So I can say guitar, I love. I love the guitar. I don't want to change that. It's a buffing item that is an axe and a drummer. So you're taking your buffer and your axe and you are turning that into a guitar, which is lots of fun. I do want them to be able to form a band with the humans kind of being the lead vocals, orcs on guitar, undead on bass, and demons. Well, you got guitar, bass, drums, and demons on drums. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't form a band. Let's just leave it at that. I think the guitar is fun. Grenades, I'm not 100% on those. I like shrapnel axes. Tomahawks become shrapnel axes. I like that. That's fun. Grenades is kind of like, Shrapnel axes is a fun one because it's axes that split into other axes, and I just think that's quite fun. Throwing whirlwinds is a reasonable evolution of a whirlwind blade. But maybe it isn't beautiful. Lightning blade is an absolute must. I love the lightning blade. I think it's very cool, and it kind of has parity with the flaming sword. Goblin launcher. Nope, there is zero discussion on the goblin launcher. Spiked shield. And then so we think, should orcs ever have a shield? Right? Should orcs ever have a shield? There's this fun thing that I can't remember where it was from, but it was designing armor for the orcs, and you just make sure you don't put any armor on the back, because that says the orcs are not going to run away. Let me just double check. Yeah, you have got audio from me, and you haven't got it from the computer, but that's fine. Yeah, they don't have armor on their backs, so it encourages the orc not to attack, not to run away, because or you would at the very worst you would retreat from them. Meteors, supreme glaive. The glaive was a bit of a... I wasn't really sure about it. The glaive is like, The Quake Morningstar is like, we just wanted parity with the club, with the Earth Hammer, which was something that Sean has, which is something the humans have. So what would be our equivalent? Stormcloud, meteors. So yeah, Supreme Glaive is definitely up for the chopping board. Meteors is like, I don't even know if the humans should have meteors. So if I were to put a... So first of all, we need to replace one of these with a chain heal. And I think I'm fairly committed to this as an idea. Yeah, I'm committed to saying the orc should have a chain heal. It's a very wide-ranging heal. Looks cool. Sort of visually nice. Something that... But I won't have a healing character. That's fine. The glaive is like, But we're also kind of in this space where, like... See, okay, orcs and goblins, they use bows. But do hero orcs use bows? Is that a thing? I don't know. Like, I can see you would have a bunch of goblins with bows and arrows. But have you ever seen... So, like, think about... Is there a Warcraft or Warhammer orc who has a bow? Is there such a thing as that? Is there such a thing as like, we don't have to copy them, obviously, but could we say that yes, while we will have goblin rangers, we will not have a ranged attack other than chain lightning or fireball for your orc heroes? Could be a goblin hero. I just need to find which one am I going to cut. The club. I like the machete. The plank is like, Orcs aren't about having clubs. Orcs are about sending units that will die, but they're very strong, so that they'll damage the humans more. I mean, maybe that's the issue, is having no shields, having no heals, mean that's why the orcs lose. And again, any choice I make here doesn't have to be permanent. But it does have to fit in the tapestry in order for it to even function. So, like, ranged weapons. So on the human side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a heal. Okay. And then on the orcs, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a heal. The orc shouldn't have more ranged weapons than a human, surely, right? So let's think about this. What if we said this becomes chain heal? Pop those back. This becomes chain heal, and then we need to kind of rethink some of our connections there. So we have chain heal, and I would like this to be able to evolve into 2 different things. I think having a chain heal I think one of the routes for it being Goblin Launcher is fine. That's fine. But then what would the other... Oh, you know, a fairly obvious one would be the guitar, especially if the guitar did some healing. And then so the drummer and mark is piercing. No, this is permanent marker. And in this case, it's spear plus mark. So this would be... So with the drummer... So the way we would do it is we would say the drummer makes up permanent marker and chain heal is guitar. Guitar will heal. Guitar is our version, would be the orc's equivalent of the Scroll of Inspiration, which is a heal and buff. So this would be a heal and buff. And instead of them saying like... Yeah, and I think we could do it like the exact same way, right? So when you use the Scroll of Inspiration as the human, he spouts off like battle speech lines. And wouldn't it be fun if the orc had this similar thing, but they're spouting off like lyrics, song lyrics, right? I like that idea. A mixture of like famous song lyrics, or just like loads of, yeah, like famous song lyrics translated into Orcish. I think that would be fun. Okay, so we have that. I haven't really done the stats for guitar yet, but we can still. And there's also like a weapon that is doing damage potentially. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. All right, so that kind of fits. And then Chain Heal being a part of Goblin Launcher is again like, no, we're not about healing here. We are about sending more units. In this case, at least. So there we would have. So what would I need to do? So this is how that's going to work, right? So then I go into, yeah, and I think that's fine for now. This can all be changed. That's why I'm not overthinking it. So we would go into upgrades, and I just need to look at the ones that I've moved to the side. So in this case, that would be the bow. Of course, there's lots of different things with the word bow in them. Would that be the one down? You know what we can do is we should be collapsing these whenever possible. So tier 2 human stuff, no, we go straight to orc stuff, green beans, tier 1. Where's our bow? Here it is. So we would remove this. And what would be the closest? Let's take our chain. So yeah, I shouldn't lose my place. But yeah, take our chain lightning. And then take our green bow. And I can see this little yellow dot tells me where I just edited something. So we will take this. Did I? Oh yeah, there we go. So chain lightning, chain heal. And that should kind of do that. Okay. Where are we in upgrades? Yeah, so that's going to be wrong. So then we have magical. Magic heal. Change between enemies. Change to more. Change between allies. Change to more allies. Get rid of that cringe reference. And this would be the chains that bind us. I don't know. And then we have changes, chained to I don't know, chained together. Like, don't need to overthink it now. All right, so that exists there. We also need to go into weapons, and again, I will take our chain lightning. And we will need to, sadly, because I don't really have a better way, we need to take our chain lightning and we need to find where this is going to go. So this will go next to green bow. I'm going to copy this down to the unused section. Which just means that like I don't lose all those references. I don't have to remake them in the Unity editor. Just to kind of keep everything organized. Just in case I want to bring it back for whatever reason. It's still there. I don't lose anything. So that we have chain heal. And again, I'll just take the word lightning and change it to heal. Okay, that's good. And then once again, we have chain lightning here. And I will be saying, let's find green bow. This should all be commented out because it doesn't exist anymore. We take our chain lightning, and again, we're going to change this to, and you know what I'm going to do by selection. Like that. That should do it. Yep, very good. So chain heal. Damage would be, so this should in fact be the reverse of the chain lightning. And I think it is as simple as that. Let me check for heal. And let me just see, because I think I have some, yeah, heal equals true. Friendly equals true. So I just need to make sure that's in there. Friendly tells it to target friendly targets. Heal makes it heal as opposed to do damage. You'd kind of expect them to maybe sort of explain each other. If it's healing, it's friendly. But not all friendlies are heals. I think that's the distinction there. So damage. Oh, really? Does the damage not go up by that much? Okay. However, the chain should. I feel like this is fairly weak, although probably more powerful than the human heal as a base heal. So that's fine. This is all fine. Range, AoE is all the same. I'm just copying chain lightning again. Nothing's permanent if I need to change something, but I sort of imagine that if it's going off the same rules as chain lightning, then it should be an effective. It should be mostly how I want it to be. Okay, that's good. So the next thing to look at, so then we've got a big thing happening where we've got to look at weapon container dot chain, and I need to very closely examine this script to make it do two additional things. One is that if, like, make the weapon do an attack first, right? In case of a sword that is a melee weapon that chains from every victim. Oh, that might be a whole new thing. And then, does it account for healing? I think it will out of the box. If it has a negative value, then it should work out of the box. It has a negative damage value. It should say, well... but yeah, I need to really examine this code, go through it very carefully, optimize it a bit, tidy it up, make it more readable, all of that good stuff. And yeah, I need to do that. Okay, but first, weapon swing anime. So let's do the easy stuff first. I may not do this today. I may leave that for another day because I really just want to. I've got 2 games at the moment on the go. Suikoden 2, which I'm loving, and I like playing that while like listening to podcasts and stuff. And Ninja Gaiden 4, which I liked, which is like, and I'm playing it on hard mode. So it's like eating Nando's with the spiciest sauce. It's like eating Mexican ghost peppers in terms of punishing oneself for some kind of pride or I don't know. And I want nothing more than to just do that. But okay, weapon swing animation should be slower. So this is a fairly big one, which should end up really affecting the feel of the game. It's just something I spotted that, like, I think this would be nice to have. So I can just grab any hero. and I go over to the weapons, and I believe that it is on the sprite renderer itself, which is actually a problem. It shouldn't be. It should be on the weapon container. Something to think about. Why is it off? Why is it off? Huh. I don't think it's supposed to be off. Well, yeah. Okay, let's think about this. Okay, we can give it a sprite. That'll do. So this is a 10 frame animation. So this should be more like, let's just stretch it out a bit. So we pull back, whoosh, and then it should go right down, like down here over the course of, let's say, 4 frames, which would make me think that this part should be like, yeah, 6 frames for the build up. So like, whoosh. Oh, I'm not animating. Okay. So really right down, whoosh. Okay, it's too fast. And then the return should be, again, like, little animating tip is your return and your, if you want to make something feel strong, it's the return and the build up that should be nice and long, and then the actual swipe itself should be almost imperceptible. So right up here. Whoosh, and then let's say like, so let's make build up 8, cool down, oh, cool down 8, and then this one we just need to make, just to give it the swing, we just pull it out a bit there. Okay, so straight away, that feels a lot better. Let's have a look at ranged shot and kind of give it the same treatment. I'm just going to use my imagination and pretend that's a bow. I think we'll just give it a very blunt, same treatment. I don't think there's anything wrong with this animation. I just think let's just stretch it out a bit. So I think it's already quite eccentric in the way it looks. Yeah, that feels natural. Okay. And let's find range shot, rest. Let's just stretch it out a bit. Let's just give it a bit more time to breathe in each case. Thrust. This only applies to the spear. But actually, I think the spear can just have the same animation, but because it's functionally the same. But yeah, let's just. I think the movement is fine. So like 8, 6, 8. I think that's a good numbers. 8, 6, 8. Yeah. Is that, so that's 8, 6, 8. Just ends at 22, yeah. Range shot. 8, 6, 8. And weapon idle, again, can just... Let's just stretch it out a bit. Each can have 2. Okay, I'm quite keen to test that out, but let's rack a few of these up before testing it out. Okay, are projectiles despawning too quickly, or have I got too few of them? Let's see. So first thing is initialize, and then we would say so we need to, this is where we initialize, like we make the object pool, so we spawn a whole bunch of each object to so that there's enough of them. So where have I done that? I think it's just weapon effect. And maybe we could just say like ×2. So there's a weapon effect for each. No, I think that number is fine. Okay, no, that's only if it's rain. Load droplets. Effects. So we see when we load a unit. Effect prefab. Is it down here? Initialize object pools. Okay. Yeah, so here's where we do it, and it is max units ×2. So when we... Yeah. Okay, so then the other thing we want to do is say, what is the lifetime of these weapons? Timer. Okay, so I guess that's in the prefab section. So we look at prefabs. We look at effects, projectiles, and we'll take all of these and we'll say, what is your original timer? Is it not the same for all of them? 4, 4. Where's the one that's not 4? There we go, boomerang. Okay, boomerang has 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and take all of these and bump them up to 8. Okay, and let's see how that goes. So basically the answer is no, they probably weren't despawning too quickly. It's just a matter of where you're looking. Double check chicken summon is working. So this is just a quick double check, although can be a little bit tedious. So drop item. So I can just put a hacky cheat here. Ah, okay, yeah. You drop item chicken. So just make sure every enemy drops chicken, and we can say cheat. Do we have one for artifacts? Chicken summon, is that indeed the name of it? So I'm going to make it so that pressing 1 gives you chicken summon and that every enemy drops a chicken, and see how that plays out. And also I'll get to see the animation swings. It should be fun. Oh, I love this random. Yeah, I should have picked a melee character. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Yeah, it's definitely working. Okay, good. Good to know. Good to know. Right, so we get rid of this. And we can be happy that that works. Buff all chicken artifacts. Okay. So we say, I'm just going to, if I type chicken with a space after and a quote before it, I should be able to find all of my chicken artifacts. Chicken summon. So let's summon 3 when you get a chicken. And let's heal. And good chicken should heal by 3 times the amount. And chicken buff. Let's give us 3 buffs. Chicken mana, let's give us... That should not be like that at all. Chicken mana is fine. Chicken reset. You can't make that much better. Chicken rain. Wait, artifact chicken rain. Okay, yeah. Oh, none of these exist anymore. The rain artifacts. I've gotten rid of all of them. Okay. And is there another section for chicken? No, so this is when you eat a chicken. And then we need to go into artifacts. So that's over here. And just make sure that that is consistent. So chicken summon will summon 3 allies. Chicken is 3 times. Chicken mana is still 20 mana. Chicken rain, chicken reset. What happened to chicken buff? Does chicken buff not exist anymore? Oh, apparently chicken buff doesn't exist anymore. Well, that's fine. Chicken mana. Gain 20 mana when eating a chicken. Yeah, that's good. If you've got chicken buffs and you've got chicken mana. So it's really this chicken summon that can just be made OP for your chicken build. And let's move it a piece at a time. Let's not slam on the accelerator. Let's just sort of slowly buff it up. Okay, that's good. Add pull handler to chicken. This is a very simple one. Because when we're trying to delete the chicken, when you kill the chicken, it causes a bug. Because it doesn't have a pull handler attached. So there's a couple things we want to do with our chicken prefab. Chicken queen. So for one, yeah, we need to add pull handler. And this is just an object, a script that needs to go on all of our chicken. All of our characters, or basically everything that can be spawned or despawned at runtime, needs to have a pull handler. The pull handling is for object pooling. Object pooling is, instead of me spawning something at every time a new enemy happens, I spawn it, I instantiate it, and then when it dies, I delete it. No, instead we spawn all of them at start and we switch them on and off. The difference is like, either I'm hiring a new actor for every role, or I'm hiring 10 actors and having them go backstage and change costume every time they're needed. Okay, so that should fix that. The other thing I wanted to do with the chicken queen was, actually she doesn't need to be that big. And also the health bar, in her case, can just be a little bit lower. Since she's so big, although maybe, yeah, let's just put it at 10. So there's no confusion. Although it is kind of obscuring the sprite. I think making it smaller will have dealt with that problem. It's just when I was when I saw the chicken last, it felt like it was a bit too big and we couldn't see its health bar. We couldn't really even see all of it. So I think having it smaller is good. Lower HP bar on chicken queen to make it easier to see. Yep. Raise chicken queen threshold. So I think it's somewhere in here we have chicken counter. I don't want a regular, for God's sake, chicken counter. Find all instances of that. If chicken counter is greater than 66, let's make it more like 99? 90? 66 is where it was before. Let's say 80. That'll do. Increase size of tier 2 units. Yeah, so tier 2 units should be larger. So we go into our enemy spawner. So tier 2 units is are the combined units, so they should feel like mini bosses a little bit. And so we take our, and we've got the looter buff, which makes them bigger. We can call this T2 enemy buff. T2 enemy buff, or T3, yeah, let's just call it tier 2 enemy buff, because these are both tier 2. And then we go into our character and we say enemy buff. And we make another one. And so we're already doing that one, but we are also going to do this one, and let's make it as big as 1.5, and let's see how that goes. Okay. That should do it. And get rid of this just to clear up the mess. Do it over here as well. Okay. Little things that need fixing. Increase size of tier 2 units. Good. Slow down foot animation. Yeah, that seems about right. Why? I don't know why it was happening so fast. But let's have a look. So we have prefabs. Giant's foot, and let's just have a look at that. Yeah, why did it feel like it was happening faster than that? Okay, well let's make this. That feels like a good speed. Let's make this one just a little bit squashed. Just so there's a bit of a, oh, no, okay. Something like that. Just so it's never like quite static. Why is it? Oh, because I'm not bloody animating it. That's why I'm a moron. Okay. And it is, in fact, this sprite renderer that needs animating, so this should never be touched. And it is this that needs to have. So it goes 1, 1.1, 1. And we could just kind of give it a little bit of breathing. So like 0.95. So we've gone from, and then it can kind of wobble back down to that 1.1, 9.9. So it'd be 1, and I make sure I'm recording, 1.05 to 0.95. Just a very subtle, so it's never quite still. And what we can do is take yeah, I want to take these bits and stretch them out. Why did it felt like it was happening like way too fast. I guess I'll put a pin in that and see if it does really feel like it's happening too fast at that time. So I'll not put a pin in it. Like, I'll just wait and see if it still feels too fast. Set enemy faction at start. Yeah, so if you just start a game, so we want to get to character select. This is part of the new UI thing we've been doing. Last used. Okay. Set the allied faction to the hero's faction. See, this should be happening. Select enemy. Select enemy faction last used. Oh. Why did I do that? I know that there was a reason why I did that. And so that's causing the problem. So I want to say, like, if selected enemy faction so if faction int is not equal to got all this awkward stuff of like, so let's fix this and then things will unbreak again. So we should not have, this shouldn't be based on an int. This should be based on a faction that we feed it. That's going to break a few things. So we've chosen our faction. Selected enemy faction is faction. For each faction, if... And let's kind of just copy this, right? Why not? So we say it becomes interactable. And then just making sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah. Yeah, this select allied faction with an int. No, that's just bad. That's just bad code. We should never do that. I'm breaking everything now, but it's fine. We'll rebuild it stronger. Yeah, don't do that. But what was in there that you did? Unhighlight all buttons, highlight target button. Okay. Never mind your faction index. Never mind this. So we want to say for each. So we've asked for a faction. For every, so we say, I've selected a faction. Okay, so can't think and speak at the same time right now. For each transform in allied faction transform, make the default to it being interactable. If the name is the one is the name of the faction we're looking for, then set that to then surely it wouldn't be that. If trans.name is equal to faction.name, then that is the faction, and we should go to button shiny. Otherwise, it should be button standard. So we're saying, find me the one, yeah, so if the button is the chosen faction, then highlight the button. And we're going to take this and put it up here. And say yeah, so for each button, for each faction button, make it interactable. If it's the chosen faction, highlight the button. Otherwise, unhighlight the button. Should still be interactable. Except in this case, no. Only the chosen faction should be interactable, making it sort of look visible. And that's fine. And then the enemy will be a bit different. So we feed... Yeah, so we can take everything that's inside here. So we say, now this is different. We actually have something called a selected enemy faction, which we can feed to the main game. If it's the chosen faction, highlight it, make it interactable. Okay. If and otherwise make it not interactable. But what if and then this would be a separate thing. So we would say if button.name so then it's a separate issue of making buttons not interactable. So we'll do like another pass, like for each transform trans in enemy faction buttons transform. I'm just gonna do it like this for now. I don't know if there's a tidier way, but and we will say button.interactable is false by default. Right? It's false by default, not interactable. And then if button.name, so faction f equals button equals factions dot get faction trans dot name. If f is equal to, so if f is not equal to selected hero dot faction, and in each case if f dot names is not equal to selected faction dot names, the name 0 is the name in English, and if f dot locked is equal to false, then make it interactable. That to me seems correct. And that's fine. I'm not going to tidy it if it doesn't need tidying. And then the issue was okay. So set allied faction to the hero's faction. Yeah. Change the enemy faction if it's the same as the player. So if the selected enemy faction is the same as the hero's faction, then we need to find the button that is associated with the hero's faction, and then here is where it would have been helpful to select a faction by an index. But what we can do is faction list. Do we not have a faction list? Okay, I think I know where that is. Probably should be in factions. There, that should work. This is stuff I couldn't do when I was first coding it. My head was too full of doing everything else as well, but now I can focus on this and make it right. Okay, and then what's the problem up here? Random enemy faction. Okay, yeah. Just saw the heart thing go. Was that my wife? Yeah, thank you, darling. But better you than one of the other couple people in here, I guess, to send me a heart. Select. You throw me off there. Right. Select enemy faction. Random.range 0. So it would be factions. No. Title screen dot. Oh god! So I would need to look for each faction a title screen, a faction, unlocked enemy factions, and then we. Oh, so yeah, it would just be. So we've kind of already done that. Select enemy faction. Unlocked. Zero unlocked enemy factions dot count. That should do it. What's wrong? List faction in faction. Add the faction, and then select me a faction. Brain's not working fully, so select enemy faction. Titles, unlocked enemy factions. 0? What if I did that? So this would be range. Okay, I think I just forgot to do that. 0 unlocked enemy factions dot count. That should work. Okay. Select enemy faction. So it would be title screen dot faction list. And it would be that index. Same again here. The issue is like, so where do we save that? Oh, we don't save that ever? Oh, that'll be the issue then. Last used hero, last used stage, last used difficulty, last used enemy faction. This is such spaghetti. Save load current profile last used enemy faction equals and we don't need last used enemy faction index. This should be public string last used enemy faction name equals green beans by default equals faction dot name and then here we don't need to worry about index, we just go selected enemy faction equals factions.getFaction save load current profile last used enemy faction name. And I don't know why I have it twice, but I'm not going to question it. Okay. Why would that? I don't know why that would be there twice, but I'm really not going to question it. I mean, I can question it, but not seek an answer necessarily. Okay, so when we pick a faction, we are picking select enemy faction is in fact a faction. Whew. I think that should work. And that would be the last thing off the list, of this little list, before we get to examining. Oh, lovely. Let's examine code and dive deep into it. Oh, that sounds like a Monday thing, to be perfectly honest. Okay. Select enemy faction. So that's what's happening here. I think it's because we've created like a new thing. Trans.name is equal to faction.names. And yeah, I reckon debug.log. What is that? Let's just figure this out. No, of course, yeah. So we will just put a little checker there. If equals green beans. And I might just like want to let that run and then delete that, and my expectation is that for a new save file that won't be an issue, like because it's only null for me because I've sort of never made it before. Oh really? Okay. Very odd indeed. Is it because like we haven't actually like loaded the faction yet? Like the faction list is empty. It's going to be something like that. Okay, no, there is a faction. So it gets that far. Huh. I don't know why this isn't working. Okay. Let me get my head straight. So the error is somewhere else. Okay, it's because we haven't got a selected hero yet. So we just say if selected hero is not equal to null, very odd. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That should be Sean on the bridge. Sean on the bridge. And I don't think we need this anymore. But I'm going to make a note. So yeah, I need to, yeah, so make build, but first test new save file at character select. I think it wouldn't be a terrible time just to make a new save file entirely. Yeah. So I'll do that. Make a build and then sort out this chain lightning stuff. But otherwise, that would be today's one. So yeah, I think this is the shortest stream I've done so far. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. It's Friday. I need to upload the latest build, make a little video for it, and yeah, that's that. So yeah, thank you very much for joining, and yeah, have a good weekend. Cheers, bye.